I've got a Monica Long video here. She's being interviewed by the Senior Vice President of Product at Ripple. This is at Ripple Swell. This has gone under the radar. You have to hear what she's saying here because it does speak to what Ripple's working on, where they're going over the next few years, and the domination they are actually having in the current market of tokenization and digital assets with financial institutions. Let's play this, all right?
Yeah.
This is juicy.
And I think that, that is 100% kind of what Ripple's mission is. So I could see how that led you here.
Yeah, so you naturally know this much better than I. You've been at Ripple for more than 11 years now. You've been in the crypto industry for most of the history of the industry. In what you're seeing now, what excites you about where the industry is now and what you think is coming?
So when I was listening to you speak about what the potential that you saw using blockchain as a new, more modern financial rail, that is what it's all about to me, and I think the mission of Ripple. What is exciting to me is it feels like the time is now. So all those benefits are there as part of blockchain right away, right out of the box, so to speak. The challenge has been global regulation and clarity of, well, how can licensed service providers and institutions use this technology in a way that's safe and compliant and legal and all those things. That has taken a much longer time, and I do think now we're seeing a lot more clarity out there. Countries from Singapore and Hong Kong to Europe, Brazil, kind of all over the map, we're seeing clarity come. And in the US, we're hopeful that clarity will come. Obviously, Congress, but lawmakers are making some efforts on both sides of the aisle toward that. So that to me is what I'm most excited about, is that it does feel like.
All right, if you don't know this, in the US, right, we actually are having bipartisan support. Crypto has been largely led by Republicans in Congress and in the Senate in the US. Over the last maybe 12 months, I think Democrats have kind of re-looked at crypto and understood, hey, this is actually a really big use case that can really solve a lot of our pain points in our financial system. And I think some of them are crossing the aisle to vote on crypto legislation, right? You need Congress. You can't just have the president come in and make executive orders and giving crypto clarity. You need Congress to act because it needs to come from everybody. And so this is the movement I'm seeing. So we have an election in literally 6 days in the US, and both sides have sounded the alarm that they are going to be the crypto president. And so regardless of who wins here, I think it'll be positive for the industry and move it forward, right? If we can get the US and the trillions of dollars, the US has the biggest financial system, biggest financial centers, all right? Like New York, Chicago, all these places. And so if you can get all of this value starting to get tokenized so it can move seamlessly across borders, that is when we all win. Let me keep going.
The pieces of the puzzle are coming into the frame.
Yeah, that is very exciting to see, and it's really exciting the role that Ripple is playing in that. Historically, Ripple has really been known for payments, but over the last couple of years, the company's expanded its product portfolio into other areas. Can you talk more about that evolution and what's behind that?
Yeah, we really see Ripple as providing full end-to-end digital asset infrastructure to financial institutions or enterprises who want to execute financial use cases on blockchain. And through our work in payments, we, over the years built a very robust, I think best-in-class operation for digital asset liquidity and payouts. So we have payout capabilities into 90 countries around the world, covering, most 90+% of X markets.
Payouts in 90+ countries around the world and 90% of the FX market, foreign exchange market. The foreign exchange market, if you don't know this, you probably know this if you've watched a bunch of my videos, but it's $7.5 trillion a day in value moving. And it's going to increase over the next 10 years. Okay. So if we have this conversation in 2 or 3 years from now, it could be 8.5 or even $10 trillion. And Ripple wants to capture that. So they cover 90% of the globe's X market, right? When we get to a full 100, well, what other company do you know that has that capability? I don't know of another one right now currently that's working on everything that Ripple's doing. If you do, let me know down in the comments because I need to research them if you know a company like that.
So that is, long, hard work. We were just talking about regulation. I mentioned, licensed providers. So we've also gone through the effort of getting licensed in various markets around the world. for virtual asset services as well as money transmission. So those capabilities together can serve payments as one use case, but it can also be useful for other tokenization use cases that our customers are interested in. The missing piece of the puzzle was storage or custody. So last year we acquired Medico, which is really best in class amongst banks for digital asset custody and also supporting on tokenization. So that's kind of how the different pieces of our product suite came together. And where we see our opportunity, it's really to be the trusted, one-stop shop, reliable provider to all of you, financial institutions and service providers.
One-stop shop. Okay, really quickly. Ripple basically went out and mastered payments over the last 10 years, right? Then they worked on central bank digital currency because you have 98% of countries that are experimenting on central bank digital currency, whether it's a wholesale, which is central bank to bank, or it's retail, which is me and you, or business to customer, customer to customer, wholesale CBDCs or retail CBDCs. Then Ripple has gone out and bought Medico for $250 million. That is what she's talking about there with best in class digital asset custody for financial institutions. Now, what is Ripple working on? They're working on their RLUSD stablecoin. When they go into these meetings with banks, financial institutions, central banks, everybody has a kind of, we need this, we don't need that, we need this. And so I think for a long time, they were like, hey, we want some type of stablecoin technology, and Ripple now actually has that. And so we can offer all of that to customers. And believe it or not, I personally think that once Ripple really kind of masters their RLUSD, I think they're going to be able to offer banks and different institutions their own stablecoin technology that works and lives on the XRP ledger. That is just kind of my thought of where this is going. What do you think? I'd love to know.
Exciting.
Yeah. So Aaron, you're now our SVP of product. You're leading the charge on the next stage of our product suite. And so what can you tell us about where things are going in 2025?
So in general, in the bigger picture, I think the role that Ripple is playing in the industry is to really help bridge traditional finance and decentralized finance. So the traditional financial rails and the whole system has been built up over several decades and really over a couple of centuries, and has had a ton of time to establish itself, perfect itself, and weave itself into the fabric of society. Blockchain, in contrast, naturally is pretty new. It's evolving very quickly, but it has a long ways to go to have the kind of reach that traditional financial system does. So we're not going to see traditional financial companies lift and shift their entire business model and move it over to the blockchain in the next few years, potentially even in the next few decades. And what we really need to do is provide a bridge between the two worlds. The reason this is important is the two financial systems do need each other. Traditional financial systems need to take advantage of the capabilities and the benefits that blockchain can bring if they want to stay competitive. And blockchain companies, crypto companies, need traditional financial institutions because that's where the vast majority of the assets are. That's where the vast majority of the liquidity is. These companies have established themselves deeply into society and have very strong networks and infrastructure. And that, of course, is where the vast majority of the customers are as well. So Ripple, being with its history, having been born as a crypto company, but also spent most of its life working very closely with some of the top financial institutions, traditional financial institutions in the world, is very equipped to play this role. The initial payments product that Ripple released, which is still going strong, is a pure fiat to fiat payment system with no crypto involved. So Ripple knows the crypto world very well. It knows the traditional financial world very well. And now with a more complete portfolio to be able to tokenize, store, exchange, and move crypto assets, I think Ripple is just very well equipped to address this. And I'm really excited about what we have on our roadmap in the next few months and coming in 2025.
All right. Well,
so if you listen to somebody like Larry Fink, who is basically the founder and in control of BlackRock, who has $9 trillion under management, he says the future of stock markets, bond markets, are tokenization of those assets, right? When you talk about the tokenization of those assets, you're talking about hundreds of trillions of dollars, okay? You can tokenize treasuries, you can tokenize derivatives, you can tokenize art, real estate, all of that. And that value will eventually wind up on blockchains, and that value will eventually move on blockchains. Imagine what the price of any asset needs to be if you're adding 50 trillion or 100 trillion or even more than that of assets on that ledger. Like, this is how you get to a high price. And this is what I've been trying to educate you guys on, the evolution of DLT and blockchain, and Ripple plays a vital part in all of that.
Well, let's get to it then. I'll leave Aaron here to share with you what's in store on the product roadmap for 2025. Thank you.
That sounds great. Thank you.
For over a decade, Ripple has worked to bridge the gap between blockchain and traditional finance. We've built enterprise-grade digital asset infrastructure, trusted by the world's largest banks. From instant global payouts and access to off-ramps, to secure digital asset custody solutions, to the stablecoin created with trust and compliance at its core, Ripple enables enterprises around the world to tokenize, store, exchange, and move value. We're not waiting for the future of finance to arrive. We're building the internet of value today.
Beautiful. All right, we're going to end there. There is a second part to this video, but I'm going to make another video. You're not going to sit through a 25-minute video. So if you like the video, please like, subscribe, share it, get it out to people, because if you can take the energy that I have, or the knowledge that I have about all this, I think you'd understand it a lot more. And I think that you would find value in digital assets a lot more. I think it is the future. If you get behind the right crypto company early and the right crypto asset early, it can change your entire life. All right. So talk to a financial advisor. I will see you out there. And I wanted to thank the other Nomad for sharing this video with me. I think it was brilliant. So thank you very much. I'll see you guys next time. I've been Crypto Sensei. Aloha.